And good morning. Happy Wednesday to those of you guys that are tuning in. Welcome to another edition of Daily Manna with T. I appreciate my YouTube community for being a little bit patient with me. I feel like I've been in a season where I've been trying to figure out the right balance for going live because it can sometimes be a lot on just one person. In addition to like my daily life and my personal life, and so I've been in a I guess it feels kind of weird, a weird place of trying to find the balance, the perfect balance for me. And so nevertheless, we are here, and I believe that it is God's perfect timing to be here on today. As always, as you guys are coming in, tell God thank you, and tell us one thing that you are grateful for on today. We start our daily manners and every single broadcast with gratitude, because I feel like the devil puts us in a position to find things to complain about all the time, things to be down and out about all the time. And so I always tell people that it is impossible to be grateful and depressed at the same time. It's impossible to be grateful and anxious at the same time. And so we choose to enter into every single broadcast with gratitude. Today I will say that I am just grateful for rest. Like, I am just so grateful for being in a season where I am unlearning being a workaholic and working myself into the ground. I feel like my entire life, and some of you guys may be able to relate to this, my entire life, the struggles that I've endured have put me in a position where I've always had to just work so hard to just get, honestly, sometimes what I felt to be the bare minimum. And so today, I'm grateful for just the opportunity to I'm grateful for just the opportunity to unlearn that habit. And so, as always, if you guys are catching this on the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay crew. I always enjoy seeing you guys hashtag that in the comments. And so, as you guys can see by the title of today's broadcast, the title is Do It With God. Yep. The title is Do It With God. I feel like this week the theme has really been about God dealing with his people, about being overwhelmed. And so yesterday was one of those nights where I worked myself physically into the ground to such a degree where it's like I had no choice but to just, what's up, y'all? I had no choice but to just honestly just rest yesterday. And so with that being said, today I woke up, and the first thing that I thought about as I woke up was about all of the different things that I had to get done, thinking about how am I going to accomplish it, thinking about the details. And honestly, I woke up with the mindset of I got to hurry up and do boom, 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 so that I'm not overloaded or overwhelmed by the responsibilities of entering into something new. And I feel like that's one of the things that people don't talk about when we talk about like embracing the new thing that God is doing. How sometimes it can feel overwhelming. Is that also when you enter into like the new thing, like your responsibilities change. Like, to whom much is given, much is required. Yesterday was one of those days where I just kind of just sat down and I thought about, like, man, my responsibilities weren't what they were now. In the last season, the last place that I lived at, it was like, man, the moment I moved to this particular house, it's like, all of the free time that I once had ain't no free time. And so it's just a lot of hard work. And so I feel like that's also an adjustment for a lot of people, especially when you feel like, man, I've already been fighting, I've already had to endure so many things, like, and then it's like sometimes entering into the new can be exhausting. It can be traumatic in itself, because we associate the new thing with like me with feeling like I get a break now. We associate the new thing with feeling like I can breathe now, I can rest now. And it's like, to a certain degree, you can breathe and you can rest, but entering into like your promised land, rest don't look the way that we think it's going to look like. Our responsibilities don't look the way that we envision them looking like. And so it's really what I call an adjustment period. And I feel like one of the things in dealing with that is a lot of times we battle with following God, because sometimes the new thing is accompanied by so many other things that sometimes following God makes us feel like God is holding us back or making us fall behind. Does that make sense? What's going on, Rita? I'm gonna say it again. Like sometimes in adjusting to the new thing, like sometimes like that could following God makes us feel like, God, you're holding me back. It feels like, I'm not moving quick enough. I'm not handling things in the way that I should be handling them. And so this morning I woke up a little bit like that, just from everything that this new thing is, just that everything that comes with it. And just, God asked me, he told me to rest today. But then he asked me, he said, why are you overwhelmed? And when I really just sat and thought about being overwhelmed, when I talked to God, I said, Lord, at the root of it is me to rest. When don't you see this full list of things that I feel like I gotta get done? And I'm gonna just say this: feeling as if God is holding you back carries an even heavier weight when you already feel like you were already barely making it before the new thing came. I'm gonna say that again. Y'all don't want to talk back to me. If you have not already hit that thumbs up button, do me a favor and go ahead and smash it. I'm gonna say it again. Like following God and feeling like He's holding it hits different. It's heavier when you already feel like, God, I was barely getting by. I was barely meeting all my responsibilities. I was barely paying all my bills. I was barely doing this. And so we have a tendency to want to just, run ahead of God or separate from God and just do what we feel like we need to do because we are in survival mode and we're just trying to stay alive. This morning was one of those mornings for me. When I got to the root, it was like, this is how I feel. I feel like I was barely making it, and now I got this, I got this, I got this, I got all of these varying things that I've got to do, and you're telling me to rest. Like, do you not see, how overwhelmed I've already been? And so it's like the moment that like I gave God like that raw thought, that raw emotion, that raw feeling was the moment that like I ain't even gonna say peace came, but it was a sense of peace. I feel like there are some moments where we're overwhelmed or we're worked up or we're so afraid that you can give God that fear, you can give God that concern, and sometimes you don't receive full peace. And it ain't that God isn't giving us full peace, but sometimes we have not had enough time to allow for ourselves to calm down adrenaline wise off of all of the fear that we've been operating in. And so I feel like there are some moments where it feels like peace is a gradual thing where it's like, okay, God, I got that off my back. I feel a little bit more at peace. And it's like the more at peace, the more peace you allow yourself to like receive, it's like you begin to receive God's perspective in a deeper way. So this morning for me was like one of those mornings where it's like as I gave God how I really felt, a sense of peace came. And it's like the more peace I felt, the theme of it at the end of like God dealing with me as I was receiving peace is just to do it with God. And one of the things that he told me was that like life always feels overwhelming. Any task will always feel like it's too much when you are not doing it with God. I'm going to say it again. Any task will always feel like it is too much, like it is overwhelming when you are not doing it with God. And so, in so many words, what God was telling me today was to slow down. And the moment that, like, I slowed down, the moment that, like, I allowed for myself to just relax where I was, it was like I looked at my life and it's like, man, it's not anything to really be overwhelmed about. Take your time and follow God. And I'm gonna ask y'all this question because God asked it to me. What is the rush anyway? Yep. What is the rush anyway? I'm gonna ask it again. What is the rush anyway? Because when you really break it down, being overwhelmed a lot of times is because we're rushing. A lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we're trying to hurry up and get it done, hurry up and do our part, hurry up and, get out of whatever pit we feel life has put us in. Slow down and do it with God. And so, if this was your word, can you just simply tell God thank you? To those of you guys that feel led to sow, you can sow. The number that I hear is the number 2020. There are 3 people watching, whether you live or on the replay, that I want to challenge to sow that seed of 2020. And I just keep hearing, this phrase. The seed title should be, God's perfect vision. Because I truly believe that when we get to a place in life where we slow down, where we allow ourselves to slow down, then we can, receive God's perfect vision for our lives. And so that is today's broadcast. I pray that it bless you. Please, if you have not already, smash that thumbs up button. Do me a favor and go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. In a few minutes, I'm gonna go live on TikTok. The name is ThoughtsbyT, and so if you guys are not following us there, please be sure that you guys go ahead and shift over to TikTok with us. As always, I love y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. I may not come on tomorrow, but I definitely will be on Friday. And so until next time, y'all.